Spanish has two helping verbs, estar and haber. Estar is used in the progressive tenses. It's one of the forms of the verb to be. It's used with gerunds, the ing verbs in English, to describe ongoing actions. For example, estoy estudiando. I am studying. In Spanish, what we consider the ing verbs end in ando or yendo. As a non-helping verb, estar is also one of the most used verbs in Spanish. Estoy feliz. I'm happy. Estoy triste. I'm sad. ¿Cómo estás? How are you? So, generally speaking, estar should be one of the first verbs you learn. The next helping verb in Spanish is haber, which means to have. To have as in the helping verb to form perfect tenses. For example, he viajado mucho. I have traveled a lot. ¿Has comido? Have you eaten? So this is going to be helpful in forming the perfect tenses. In today's lesson, we're going to break down the compound tenses in Spanish. These are verb forms made up of two verbs, a helping verb and a main verb. We'll focus on two groups, the perfect tenses and the progressive forms. The perfect tenses in Spanish use the verb haber as the helping verb, followed by a past participle, like comido, vivido, or hablado. We'll go through them one by one, but I actually have a guide to Spanish verbs in PDF format. It has 300 common verbs and the explanation on how to use the compound tenses as well. I'll leave you the link on the description to check that out. Let's start with the present perfect, pretérito perfecto. So here we will need the verb conjugation of haber in the present tense. We have he for yo, I have. You have is tú has for the informal you. For the formal you, for she or he, we're going to use a. For nosotros or nosotras, we're going to use hemos. For vosotros or vosotras, habéis. And for the plural you or they, we're going to use han. And we're going to need the participio, participle, of the main verb. For example, if I want to say I have eaten, we're going to use he from haber, yo he, I have, and eaten is comido. Yo he comido, I have eaten. If I want to say you have eaten, we just have to change the pronoun if we're going to use it and haber conjugated to the correct pronoun. So in this case, you have eaten is tú has comido. Tú has comido. He has eaten. Él ha comido. She has eaten. Ella ha comido. We have eaten. Nosotros hemos comido. Nosotros hemos comido. You have eaten for vosotros or vosotras becomes vosotros habéis comido. They have eaten. Ellos han comido. So the only thing that changes here is the verb haber, the helping verb. It has to be conjugated to the correct person. Comido is the same for all of the sentences. Another example in question format is ¿Has hablado con ella? ¿Has hablado con ella? Have you spoken to her? So here we start with haber conjugated to the person. Since the subject here is you, we're going to use has. Hablado is the participle of hablar. Con ella here means to her. ¿Has hablado con ella? So to change this question, we just have to switch the verb haber with another variation depending on the subject. We use this tense to talk about actions that happened recently or that still have importance in the present. For the past perfect, el pretérito pluscuamperfecto, the structure itself is the same. We just have to conjugate haber to the past tense. Había, había, habías, habías, había, había, habíamos, habíamos, habíais, habíais, habían, habían. So we're going to use the past tense of the verb haber and then the participle, el participio. And we use the past perfect to describe something that happened before another past action. For example, ya había salido cuando llamaste. Ya había salido cuando llamaste. So here we're using había, so we're talking about él or ella or the formal you. He or she had already left when you called. Another example is habíamos comido antes de llegar. Habíamos comido antes de llegar. We had eaten before arriving. So here the structure is the same, right? We have haber conjugated to the past and the correct person, plus the participle. And then we add more detail. There is another past tense in Spanish, but it's very rarely used in the compound tenses. So we'll move on to the future perfect, futuro perfecto. Here we're going to conjugate haber to the future tense. Habré, habré. Habrás, habrás. Habrá, habrá. Habremos, habremos. Habréis, habréis. Habrán, habrán. And then we add the participle. We use the future perfect tense to talk about something that will have happened by a specific point in the future. For example, para mañana habré terminado el trabajo. Para mañana habré terminado el trabajo. By tomorrow I will have finished the work. Another example. ¿Habrás comido para entonces? ¿Habrás comido para entonces? Will you have eaten by then? So here, terminado and comido are the participles of those verbs, terminar and comer. All right, so let's move on to the conditional perfect, condicional perfecto. The verb conjugation for haber here is habría, habría, habrías, habrías, habría, habría, habríamos, habríamos, habríais, habríais, habrían, habrían. And then we'll add the participle. This tense is used to express what would have happened in a hypothetical situation. For example, habría ido. Habría ido, pero estaba enfermo. Habría ido, pero estaba enfermo. I would have gone, but I was sick. ¿Qué habrías hecho tú? ¿Qué habrías hecho tú? What would you have done? ¿Qué habrías hecho tú? So just like irregular Spanish verbs in the simple tenses, there are also irregular participles. Here, ido and hecho are irregular. These four tenses we've seen come from the indicative mood. We could also use the compound tenses in the subjunctive mood, but it's rare. The one that's most commonly used in the subjunctive mood is the present. The verb conjugations of haber for the subjunctive mood is haya, haya, hayas, hayas. And then we're going to use haya again for usted, él, or ella. Haya. Hayamos, hayamos. Hayáis, hayáis. Hayan, hayan. For example, espero que hayan aprendido algo nuevo. Espero que hayan aprendido algo nuevo. I hope you learned something new. So these are the most common perfect tenses. As I mentioned before, there are a few more, but they are rarely used. You should focus on learning these 5, and then you can move on to the other ones. Now let's move on to the progressive forms. They're technically not a tense, but we use them all the time, just like in English. These use the verb estar, one of the forms of to be, plus the gerund, which is like an ing verb in English. And we use these forms to show that something is in progress. So here you're going to need to know estar and how it's conjugated to the different persons and the different tenses. And you're going to need the gerund in Spanish, which usually end in ando or yendo. In the present progressive, presente progresivo, we have estoy, estoy, estás, estás, está, está, estamos, estamos, estáis, estáis, están, están. For example, estoy estudiando español. Estoy estudiando español. I'm studying Spanish. ¿Qué estás haciendo? ¿Qué estás haciendo? What are you doing? So here we change the verb estar and then we use the gerund. In this case, estudiando or haciendo. I also have the gerund listed on the Spanish verb guide. Then we have the imperfect progressive, imperfecto progresivo. Estar is conjugated to estaba, estaba, estabas, estabas, estaba, estaba, estábamos, estábamos, estabais, estabais, estaban, estaban. For example, estaba leyendo cuando sonó el teléfono. Estaba leyendo cuando sonó el teléfono. I was reading when the phone rang. Estábamos comiendo en ese momento. Estábamos comiendo en ese momento. We were eating at that moment. Estábamos comiendo en ese momento. For the future progressive, futuro progresivo, we'll use estaré, estaré, estarás, estarás, estará, estará, estaremos, estaremos, estaréis, estaréis, estarán, estarán. For example, estaré trabajando mañana a las 8. Estaré trabajando mañana a las 8. I'll be working tomorrow at 8. ¿Estarás viajando este fin de semana? ¿Estarás viajando este fin de semana? Will you be traveling this weekend? And the last tense we'll take a look at today is the conditional progressive, condicional progresivo. The verb estar is conjugated as estaría, estaría, estarías, estarías. And then we'll use estaría again, estaría, estaríamos, estaríamos, estaríais, estaríais, estarían, estarían. For example, estaría durmiendo ahora mismo. Estaría durmiendo ahora mismo. I will be sleeping right now. Estaríamos hablando con ellos si estuviéramos allí. Estaríamos hablando con ellos si estuviéramos allí. We will be talking to them if we were there. So again, this is hypothetical. So to recap, for the perfect tenses, we're going to use haber as the helping verb, and that's the one that gets conjugated. And then we'll add the participle. For example, I have eaten, he comido. I had eaten, había comido. And for the progressive forms, we're going to use estar, and that's the verb that gets conjugated, plus the gerund. For example, I am eating, estoy comiendo. I was eating, estaba comiendo. Today we're talking about Spanish gerunds, how to use them correctly, when to avoid them, and how to sound more like a native speaker. Comencemos! First, what exactly is a gerund? In English, gerunds end in ing, like eating or running. In Spanish, they end in ando for AOR verbs and yendo for EOR and IOR verbs. And usually, a gerund means there's an action in progress. For example, hablar becomes hablando, speaking. Comer becomes comiendo, eating. Vivir becomes viviendo, living. So for AOR verbs, to find a gerund, you just take the AOR part and replace it with ando. And for EOR and IOR verbs, you take that part off and replace it with yendo. So let's practice a little bit. Can you think of a verb and try forming it in the gerund in Spanish? How about trabajar? It becomes trabajando. How about for the verb leer, to read? What would the gerund be for it? It actually is leyendo. So instead of saying yendo, because there are two vowels, we're going to change that first I to the letter Y. There are a few other exceptions. For example, when we see the verb pedir, there is a stem change from E to I or IE. So pedir becomes pidiendo. Pedir is to ask, pidiendo. Or with the stem changes from O to UE. For example, dormir becomes durmiendo. Here are a few other examples. For regular verbs, we see beber, to drink. It becomes bebiendo, drinking. Cocinar, to cook. It becomes cocinando, cooking. A few other irregular verbs are sentir, to feel. It becomes sintiendo, feeling. Mentir, to lie. It becomes mintiendo, lying. Decir, to say. It becomes diciendo, saying. All right, now that you've seen some examples of these verbs, how do we use them? The first and main way, similar to English, is to indicate an action in progress, so the progressive tenses. For this structure, we have to use the verb estar to form the different progressive tenses. In present, for example, we could say, estoy aprendiendo español. I am learning Spanish. Estoy aprendiendo español. Estás escribiendo un comentario. Estás escribiendo un comentario. You are writing a comment. Estás escribiendo un comentario. Él está trabajando. Él está trabajando. He is working. Él está trabajando. So these are very straightforward, very similar to the English version. You have to learn the verb conjugation for estar. And I'm going to leave it up on the screen for the present, past, and future tenses. Just like the ing verbs, in these sentences, the Spanish gerunds don't change. So we could change estoy aprendiendo español to the future progressive, estaré aprendiendo español. The structure doesn't change. A second way to use these verbs is to describe how an action is performed. For example, aprendí español escuchando música. Aprendí español escuchando música. I learned Spanish by listening to music. Aprendí español escuchando música. Él entró corriendo. Él entró corriendo. He entered running, or he was running when he entered. Él entró corriendo. Ella respondió gritando. Ella respondió gritando. She responded by shouting. Ella respondió gritando. So you can see here the main verb is in past tense. And then we see the Spanish gerund. They are describing the main action. It's harder to give you a structure for this situation. It is something that you're going to have to practice more and just pay attention to the past tenses. Generally speaking, when you use a verb in its past tense, you can't use another verb in the past, right? So when you say aprendí español, escuchó música, we can't say escuchó. We have to use escuchando. We have to use another form of the verb. Very similar to English, we can't say I learned Spanish by listened to music. We have to use another form. The third way to use the gerunds in Spanish is to express simultaneous actions. For example, caminaba pensando en su futuro. Caminaba pensando en su futuro. He was walking thinking about his future. Caminaba pensando en su futuro. Leía escuchando música. Leía escuchando música. He or she was reading while listening to music. Leía escuchando música. So similarly to number 2, the main verb is in the past tense. And then we're going to follow it up with another verb in its gerund form. Another way to use the gerunds in Spanish is to indicate ongoing actions. And we will usually use verbs like seguir or continuar. So seguir has different meanings. It could mean to continue, but it could also be to follow, to keep, to chase, to get. It varies greatly. And then continuar means to continue. For example, sigo aprendiendo español. It's an ongoing action. Sigo aprendiendo español. I keep learning Spanish, or I'm still learning Spanish. Sigo aprendiendo español. Continuamos viendo la serie. Continuamos viendo la serie. We keep watching the show. Continuamos viendo la serie. So we began to watch the show and we're still watching it. The structure is very similar to the progressive tenses with the verb estar. And then a fifth way to use the gerunds in Spanish is for gradual or repeated actions. And here we will use verbs like ir, to go, or andar, which is also a form of to go, to get around, to walk, to travel, to run. It has different meanings. So when something is happening little by little, we could use one of these verbs with the gerund. For example, voy mejorando mi español. Voy mejorando mi español. I'm gradually improving my Spanish. Voy mejorando mi español. Anda diciendo mentiras. Anda diciendo mentiras. He goes around telling lies. Anda diciendo mentiras. In English, gerunds can function as nouns, often serving as the subject or object of a sentence. In Spanish, we don't use the gerunds this way. Instead, we have to use the infinitive. This is what I mean. In English, we could say, I like reading. But in Spanish, we wouldn't use the gerund in that sentence. We wouldn't say, me gusta leyendo. Instead, we would use the infinitive verb, me gusta leer. Me gusta leer. Or another example is, swimming is fun. We wouldn't say, nadando es divertido. That is not correct. We will use the infinitive, nadar es divertido. Nadar es divertido. So that's a common mistake with gerunds in Spanish. A second mistake is using gerunds as adjectives. In English, a gerund adjective describes an ongoing action, but in Spanish we tend to use a relative clause. For example, the woman who is walking is my sister. We would think that something like that translates into La mujer caminando es mi hermana. But the correct way is la mujer que camina es mi hermana. La mujer que camina es mi hermana. Another example is the man wearing a hat. Here we think that it could be el hombre llevando un sombrero. But again, that is not correct. The correct way is el hombre que lleva un sombrero. El hombre que lleva un sombrero. So those are two mistakes that tend to happen when learning the gerunds in Spanish. Today I'm going to talk about how the passive voice is formed in Spanish, la voz pasiva. As you know, the passive voice is used when the focus is on the action or the object, not on who performs the action. For example, el profesor explica la lección. The professor explains the lesson. Here, the focus is on the professor. Using the passive voice, we could say, la lección es explicada por el profesor. The lesson is explained by the professor, and so the focus is on the lesson, la lección. In Spanish, we form the passive voice with ser, one of the forms of to be, and the past participle. So we must use the verb ser in the correct tense, and I already have a lot of videos on how to conjugate the verb ser. Then we add the past participle of the main verb. But in Spanish, the past participle must agree in gender and number with the subject. For example, la carta fue escrita por María. La carta fue escrita por María. The letter was written by María. So here, escrita matches la carta. It's a feminine noun. Los libros fueron leídos por los estudiantes. Los libros fueron leídos por los estudiantes. The books were read by the students. Here, leídos matches the gender and number of los libros, the books, plural masculine noun. So this is one way to use the passive voice, and we'll take a look at some examples in a few minutes. The other way is to use se for the impersonal or reflexive passive, and this is more common than using ser. And the structure here is se plus the verb in the third person plus the subject. For example, se venden casas. Se venden casas. Houses are sold. It sounds strange in English, houses are sold, but in Spanish it doesn't sound as odd. Se venden casas. Se busca secretaria. Se busca secretaria. A secretary is wanted. It means we're looking for a secretary. Se publicaron las noticias. Se publicaron las noticias. The news was published. Se publicaron las noticias. So the verb is in the third person, but it can be singular or plural depending on the subject. So in English, the passive is used very often, but in Spanish, we prefer the active voice or the passive using se. Let's take a look at more examples now, but before doing that, if you like this video and you're finding it helpful, remember to give it a like so it can reach more people that want to learn Spanish. Muchas gracias. So now for the examples. La comida será preparada por el chef. La comida será preparada por el chef. The food will be prepared by the chef. La comida será preparada por el chef. So we see será in the future tense. Las ventanas han sido limpiadas por los niños. Las ventanas han sido limpiadas por los niños. The windows have been cleaned by the children. Las ventanas han sido limpiadas por los niños. Han comes from the verb haber, which is used for the perfect tenses. El coche fue reparado por el mecánico. El coche fue reparado por el mecánico. The car was repaired by the mechanic. El coche fue reparado por el mecánico. El museo es visitado por miles de turistas cada año. El museo es visitado por miles de turistas cada año. The museum is visited by thousands of tourists every year. El museo es visitado por miles de turistas cada año. El paquete será entregado mañana por la mensajería. El paquete será entregado mañana por la mensajería. The package will be delivered tomorrow by the courier. El paquete será entregado mañana por la mensajería. Se construyeron nuevos hospitales en la ciudad. Se construyeron nuevos hospitales en la ciudad. New hospitals were built in the city. Se construyeron nuevos hospitales en la ciudad. Se venden frutas frescas en ese mercado. Se venden frutas frescas en ese mercado. Fresh fruits are sold in that market. Se venden frutas frescas en ese mercado. La película fue dirigida por un famoso cineasta. La película fue dirigida por un famoso cineasta. The movie was directed by a famous filmmaker. La película fue dirigida por un famoso cineasta. El problema está siendo resuelto por los ingenieros. El problema está siendo resuelto por los ingenieros. The problem is being solved by the engineers. El problema está siendo resuelto por los ingenieros. Se publicaron los resultados del examen ayer. Se publicaron los resultados del examen ayer. The exam results were published yesterday. Se publicaron los resultados del examen ayer. La puerta fue cerrada por el guardia. La puerta fue cerrada por el guardia. The door was closed by the guard. La puerta fue cerrada por el guardia. Los documentos serán revisados por el abogado. Los documentos serán revisados por el abogado. The documents will be reviewed by the lawyer. Los documentos serán revisados por el abogado. Se buscan voluntarios para el proyecto. Se buscan voluntarios para el proyecto. Volunteers are wanted for the project. Se buscan voluntarios para el proyecto. La canción fue cantada por un coro infantil. La canción fue cantada por un coro infantil. The song was sung by a children's choir. La canción fue cantada por un coro infantil. Se producirán más cambios el próximo año. Se producirán más cambios el próximo año. More changes will come next year. Se producirán más cambios el próximo año. Se venden carros usados. Se venden carros usados. Used cars for sale. Se venden carros usados. I hope this was helpful, and to keep learning Spanish, go watch this video next. Muchas gracias.